Hello. I discovered something about loss and grief this holiday season that I wanted to share. We just recently moved houses after 26 years of living in the same house. I was trying to figure out how best to accommodate the whole family for holiday gatherings in our new house. In my head, I counted me and Vicky first, then our kids and their partners, then grandkids. 2 for me and Vicky, plus 7 kids and 7 partners makes 16. Then I caught myself. Wait, I will never again have to have seating for Jessica and her significant other. I will never enjoy having any of her children as my grandchildren. This is a permanent loss for me and for our family. Our family here on earth will forever be broken without Jessica here with us. When some people complain about 2020 and say they can't wait to get to 2021, they are likely referring to somewhat temporary losses that can be recouped or turned around in the near future. That is probably why the mocking of 2020 and the anticipation of 2021 and getting back to normal is a somewhat frustrating and depressing thing for us to hear. Making it to 2021, or any new year for that matter, will never allow for the recuperation of the tragic loss we have experienced in 2020. We will never get back to normal. We will always be broken from this permanent loss. Sadly, many others have experienced permanent loss, not only in 2020, but in years past. Permanent loss is a terrible thing to deal with, whenever and however it happens. What do you do with permanent loss and brokenness in this lifetime? This Christmas season reminded me of this passage from the Bible. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. That got me thinking about the word peace. I have not been feeling very much peace for many years now, as we have dealt with Jessica's mental illness, addiction issues, and tragic death. I dug into the word peace a little more. Jesus says in John 14, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." Paul refers to the peace that surpasses all understanding. I used to think of peace as lack of trouble, lack of grief, or lack of being bothered. I thought a peaceful person was someone who could keep a stoic calm in the midst of guns blazing and bombs exploding. That has not been my experience at all in the midst of this tragic loss that has been building for the last 8 years. Maybe this peace from Jesus is not real, or maybe he is withholding it from me for some reason. However, the word peace in the Bible means much more than a lack of trouble. The word peace actually means wholeness and completeness. So Jesus is the Prince of Wholeness and Completeness, and there will be no end to the wholeness and completeness he gives to us. And we also know that this wholeness and completeness will surpass all understanding. I think I am finally beginning to understand what that means. We live in a world that is anything but complete, as broken people who experience loss, and sooner or later will experience permanent loss. Jesus offers us wholeness and completeness in the midst of brokenness and permanent loss. True peace is available in suffering, grief, trials, difficulty, disappointment, and regret. That is the amazing part about the peace that Jesus gives and why it is beyond all understanding. It makes no sense that we can live lives of wholeness while grieving permanent loss. It makes no sense that we can be totally complete and utterly broken at the same time. When I choose to feel the reality of that in my heart, it is well beyond my understanding. Yet, there it is. I've been thinking about it like my wholeness is being restored, but I do not believe that is technically true. My wholeness was never really diminished because of my loss, in a way that cannot be understood, only felt and known. That is a miracle of the good news. We can be whole in the midst of loss and brokenness right now. We don't have to wait until 2021. We can have it right now, all of the time. We can grieve our own losses and still be whole. We can come alongside and grieve with others in their losses, and at the same time promise them access to wholeness and completeness. There is no bad year in the kingdom of God. In the kingdom of God, there is never a recession, never a bear market, no loss of hope, no loss of wholeness, no loss of completeness. In the kingdom of God, there is only light, love, wholeness, completeness, and health. The good news is we have access to live in that kingdom right now and experience wholeness in the midst of our brokenness. We do not have to wait for the new year. We don't even have to wait for heaven. We have access to it right now and in heaven.